Hi, Mem. This is the template that will drive you to brilliance with semen retention in your life. And there's actually, I wish I'd found or saw a video like this type of thing when I first started getting into semen retention almost 2 years ago. Because when I was doing it in the beginning, I didn't know what to do, what transmutation was, what sublimation was, how to work with this incredible energy, how to really move and work with the energy. So it's kind of like I've been thinking about doing this video for a few weeks, and it's something I wanted to do to provide people just an idea of what they can do with their energy, and how semen retention can be used for an incredibly healthy, vibrant, powerful, and wonderful, happy, hard-working life, if that is something that's attractive to you at all. So I think like many of the other people who do YouTubes and podcasts for semen retention is like the oil. It's like the power. The engine is probably the best word. Semen retention is the engine of your entire life. I think of this analogy. Imagine if I got a Ferrari or a Porsche outside in my driveway here, and there's no petrol in it, there's no diesel, there's no oil in it. Like that Ferrari is not going to go anywhere. Now, imagine if I got a much cheaper car like a Corsa or an Astra or a cheap American car wherever you live in the world, some cheap car, but it's got really amazing rocket fuel in it. You know, the best fuel, powerful fuel that is available on the market. That cheap car is going to go really, really well at the very best it can. And to bring it back to our human realm, men, like what is it? So we are human men in this body. What is it like to really work with rocket fuel in our own body? And for me, the semen retention, our seed, our semen, when kept in, is that rocket fuel, is that engine that drives every other part of our life. And it's taken me, I'm in my 40s now, early 40s now, and it's taken me up to now to realize how powerful kept retention is, as I'm sure many of you will be on this journey that are watching this video. Some people call the people the chosen ones. I'm not so sure. Maybe we are just wised up to a certain way to live a vibrationally raising life. So, guys, this is what I wanted to put down in this video. So, number one, semen retention is the engine for your whole life. It's going to create energy. So, let's say you've been jerking off, you've been busting nuts for like your whole life, and suddenly you decide to stop. And you might go 7 days or 14 days or 30 days without busting a nut. You're going to be filled and flooded with extra energy. Instead of the semen going down and out of your body, the semen is now going up and in. So instead of losing energy, like the energy is now going up. It's filling you, filling us, filling me with extra energy. You know, this is kind of it can be a nebulous term, energy or vibration. But I think for me, that's what it feels like. It's energy, it's fuel, it's something to work with. But where I fell down in my first 18 months was that I just didn't know what to do with it. I was still sitting on my sofa or my phone every day. It wasn't really, a joined up type of life. I did a tiny bit of walking exercise. I do my job. Um, like there wasn't really that much. It didn't wasn't really going that many places or anywhere really. So that's why I was relapsing after 5, 7 days so often. And it's only till I realized that you need to transmute the power, you need to transmute the energy and also sublimate the energy as well, that then you can start to get up much longer streaks and really reaping the benefits of semen retention. So, man, I've come up with 8 different distinct parts of life, different elements or topics that the energy can be driven into. These aren't a de facto list. They're not like, it's not the be all and end all. It's just 8 different paths of life that I think are varied but also essential to helping create a healthy life. And I say I'm not perfect at this at all. Some I excel at, some I'm not good at all, or some I'm better at some than others. But I think you out there, men watching this video, you will have these elements which you excel at, and others you may be lacking. And it's kind of for me, my goal is to have a more balanced understand, a more balanced awareness and work and be working with in harmony these 8 topics that I'm about to outline here on how, where, and when the transmutation energy can be used into. So, without further ado, let's get into number one. So, number one here on my list is exercise, working out, being active. Now, men, I'm like tall and skinny or tall and thin, and I never really felt I needed to do that much exercise. Like I walked a lot, I swam a lot, but I can't say I had like some rippling beach body at any time. And I think I put this as number one on the list because this is the game changer. So many of you that are on this semen retention journey will be heavily into exercise, lifting weights. You might have what is considered a good body by our Western standards, six pack or pecs or nice legs or an athletic body, whatever you feel is good. Um, you will need, if you want to be successful with semen retention, you will need to exercise and a lot of exercise, I feel. And this is was my downfalls, and now this is why I'm becoming successful with semen retention. Um, I exercise now quite a lot. I run. I've been running for the last 2 weeks or so regularly. I've been rowing for the last 2 months. I've got an indoor rowing machine. I swim occasionally as well. I also do yoga asana every other morning. So I do my exercises. I'm getting into it more and more. I've always done lots of different spiritual bodywork pursuits, but actually flat out physical exercise regularly was never really my thing. But I realize now that this energy, for me, it can be a really crazy energy, and it's kind of like taming the beast with exercise. So I mean, many people when they get into retention, is that they complain they can't sleep because there's so much energy, and they like to jerk off before they go to sleep, so they can go to sleep because the prolactin is flooding through the body, and you feel all sleepy, and you have a nice 8, 9 hours sleep, whatever you like. But if you're on retention, you don't have that option. And so how can you, it's almost like eliminating or dispersing or integrating the energy is a better word. Exercise is the best thing. It's number one. I mean, if you don't do it, if maybe if you're overweight, if you don't feel like exercise, start with walking. Like, you probably have, hopefully, be privileged enough to have two fine legs when you're walking. You can walk around the house if it's cold. God, I live in England. It's like freezing cold a lot of the time. Walk around your house like 100 times. If you can, walk outside at lunch if you're working. Like try and walk for a half an hour to 45 minutes. If you can do more, great. Like what else could you do? You could start running, buy some running shoes, cycling. I absolutely love cycling as well. In the summer, I cycle almost every day. Um, what else can you do, guys? Like you can go and lift weights. You can go to join a gym. You can join a sports team. So many different options and outlets there. At least in the UK, I'm sure in America as well, in Canada as well. So many different outlets. You can go and do martial arts as well. Another wonderful tool for men for outlets of this extra energy that you find in your body. So, men, number one, get on your exercise, get on your running, get on your weightlifting, do whatever you do that moves the body, that makes the body sweat, and do it regularly. People on retention normally have very, very good exercise routines, regimes, and bodies as well. So, number two is diet and healthy eating. Now, I've always generally ate quite well. I'd say I was probably about 75 to 80% healthy. And during the time I've been practicing retention, my intuitive antennae has really kind of zoned in and harnessed in on what is healthy and what is not healthy. So, guys, I'm not going to say which diet is good for you, if it's vegetarian or carnivore or keto. You will know as intuitive men what is good for you. I don't know. I actually want to do a lot of separate videos on diet. I think about it quite a lot. If you walk like in a service station here or gas station or petrol station, as we call them in the UK, like I walk into them, probably go into a petrol station twice a week. If you have a look at some of the products, like 95% of that is shit. It's not even food. It's food-like products like crisps, sweets, chocolates, chocolate buns, fizzy drinks, even mineral water. I don't think that is that great at all. In fact, I'd be struggling to find any real decent healthy food in a service station. And sadly, this is the same for a lot of our supermarkets. It's just food-like products. It's just scientific rubbish that really is not going to give you the nutritional, healthy, energetic hit that you need. I mean, for me, food is energy. Like, how do you want to fuel your body? Do you want good energy, good, positive, uplifting energy that will be utilized in the most efficient and economical way by your body? And I'm sure you go, yes, of course. So, what is that for you? So I eat a tiny little bit of meat. I'd like a tiny little bit of chicken. I probably have chicken maybe twice a week. Probably have fish maybe another 2 times a week. The rest of the time I have a lot of vegetarian food, like vegetarian curries. I have a lot of rice meals as well, which I really love. Rice and fish, rice and vegetables. For breakfast, I normally have a porridge or I have 2 or 3 eggs on homemade bread and avocado. For lunch, might have a sandwich, might have leftovers from last night. In the evening, I normally cook a curry or a fish meal. Like it's just very simple organic food. If you're struggling here, men, like imagine the type of diet that people ate 100 years ago. Did they have chocolate bars? Did they have crisps? Did they have sticky toffee apples? Did they? Fuck, no, they didn't. They had wholesome, whole organic foods. They had fresh meat, fresh vegetables, probably from their butcher or fishmonger. They had vegetables, fruit, um, just healthy foods of the earth. Like, I don't know if you've seen that film Banshees of Inisherin. Like, I remember that said in 1923. Like, what is the diet that they had then? Like, it's not going to be shit food, is it really? So like, guys, food is energy. Food is sustenance and sustaining you. I'm going to do a lot more videos on food, actually. It's something I've grown into in the last few years. And if you really want, for bonus points, look up something called Sattvic diet. So Sattvic is a diet from India. In my understanding, it's a very flat diet. You can always call it plain diet because it's for meditators. Food, like imagine if you had like a massive steak, like you're going to feel like, or a Sunday roast meal we have here in England, like your energy is going to be after the meal, and it might spike up afterwards, like is at least it is for me. With a sattvic diet, the energy is like flowing and it's kind of like steady and it's middling as well. So that's a sattvic diet. That's something I'm exploring at the minute, but I don't know too much about. I've also looked into Ayurveda as well. I know a little bit about Ayurveda, and I think if you're really committed to this brahmacharya, this semen retention path, maybe that's the way to go. But I'm not there yet. So now that's number two. So number one, exercise, working out, moving your body. Number two, healthy diet, guys. It's essential, every other day. Like, 95% of your food should be good, healthy, nutritious food. Maybe a few crisps here or there, whatever you like. Right. Number three, um, your work, your business, like your output in the world. So, guys, there's hundreds and thousands of millions of YouTube videos out there on the value and the philosophy of work. I'm not going to get into this here. I mean, unless you're incredibly fortunate where you don't really need to work for a living, or you work a few hours a living, like the case for the majority of people is that they'll be working 30, 40, 50 hours a week to provide for themselves and their family and building a career. This is a wonderful way to channel that transmuted energy into your work. Like if you have your own business, what is the next goal or what is the needle dialing headline that you want? Do you want more clients? Do you want more revenue in your business? And most people say, yes, of course. Like, the retention will give you the fuel and the fire and the power and the energy to really drive into your goals. It will give you the resilience and the motivation to keep on going to hit your goals. Are you working for a corporate entity? Like, do you want that promotion to the next higher up rung in the ladder? Do you want to get that next sale? Do you want to complete that project in a fantastic way? Retention is the energy that you can put into doing this. This is where the energy has come. So imagine all your co-workers, all your colleagues, they're jerking. Like, they're getting on okay. You're the guy, you're the chosen one who's got so much energy that they can just smash it and smash through these things because the energy is in abundance with you. You're not wasting it and jerking off. You're holding your seed. And thus you can really channel it into a powerful work ethic and powerful work motivation to smash your business and smash your work, whatever you do. So, guys, that is number three. I mean, there's a lot to be said on work here, but I'm just going to leave it short. Number four on my list is creative pursuits and passions. Perhaps like you're a budding chef in the kitchen. Perhaps you love to play instruments like guitar, flute. Maybe you love to sing. Maybe you love to draw. Maybe you love to create. Maybe you like to make nice Canva profiles. Maybe you like to make nice vision boards or YouTube thumbs. Or maybe like even for me, having my own business is quite a creative pursuit. Like you can channel your energy that you're saving into these creative pursuits. Like maybe I used to play guitar and and I got carpal tunnel. I used to play maybe 20 minutes to half an hour a day and I'll give up. This is before retention. Um, and I should imagine once you get into retention, you can really channel like the energy into these creative pursuits. Like at the minute, I'm kind of slowly starting to up my cooking skills. They've never been amazing. So I'm kind of putting my energy into that. The transmuted energy is going into kind of making me a better chef so I can cook better meals for myself and my family. So guys, that's number four on how you can also transmute this wonderful kept retention energy. So number 5 on my list is family relationships and connections. Now, some of you might be fortunate enough to have many friends or connections or a large family network. Some of you may have none of that. I think many men, once they get over the age of 35, find themselves having fewer and fewer connections, especially if they're single. Around 30, 35, 40, people get into families, they're doing their careers. There's probably a lot less time for guy time or bloke time or connector time or even female friends time, whatever type of connection you are. Like, if you want more connection, go for it. You can use the retention energy to forge and find more connections. In my previous video, I mentioned how you can connect more as a man to other men, vulnerability, trust, intimacy. These are all great components to really finding much better friends and much better connections in life. They're very important. I heard this psychological theory out of one of millions. I'm sure you've probably heard them all quoted in the press. Is at the age of 43, the connections a man has at the age of 43 will go on and tell and demonstrate how that man has a happy or sad or indifferent life. So yeah, guys, work on your connections. I really love connections. They're a very high value of mine. I've really worked on having good, honest, wholesome, authentic, connected friendships with many, especially men friends. I've got a lot of male friends, with a few female friends, got a wide family network, I have a daughter and partner. So yeah, it's something why I really love and believe in having connections on this planet. I love kind of hearing and very curious as to why people live the lives they do. What are their thought patterns? How do we connect? Like, what is the magic that we can make together? What fun, or how do we spend time together? A wonderful way to transmute the energy is to creating more connection in your life, more friendships, if you want to call it that. That's number 6. Number 5, sorry, guys. So number 6. Now, this is where we get into the more vibrationally raising exercises, this side of my flow chart here, and that is healing trauma, shadow work, and inner child work. Now, guys, I did a video about this previously, and it was kind of don't get too stuck here. And I've been working around this for a number of years, 4 or 5 years, way too long than anyone has needed. So I would say most people in the West would have some sort of traumatizing event. You might not be conscious of it, but it might be that time that your mum and dad treated you like shit, or you were shouted at, or you were bullied, or you might have had a car crash, or you might get much serious things like sexual assault, death of a loved one, death of a pet, breakup of a particularly bad breakup of a relationship you were really enamored with, or being physically assaulted, friends, family member who was murdered or seriously assaulted. There's some really mad stuff and evil stuff happening out there, guys. If this is you, I would ask you to A, go gently on yourself, and B, say it is possible to heal some of these things. Some of the things, the aforementioned list I've gone through. I have used a technique called TRE, which I'm a practitioner of. It's trauma release exercises. It's the modality that will create a shake in your body, a healthy, safe shake in your body, and let the body tremble out some of these old memories. There's a lot of science that goes into it, guys. In essence, you are regulating the nervous system, which is the system which controls your reaction and response, your fight, flight, and freeze response. And when I started to really regulate my nervous system and move away from hypervigilance, I was always on the lookout. So I was always looking to run away or looking at what the danger was in life. I began to feel a lot calmer and a lot more authentic and a lot more wholesome with who I was on this planet. And I started to heal a lot more trauma. And that healing came and be able to speak about it more. I wasn't triggered as much. I wasn't as scared of speaking about some of the stuff that I've gone through. I'm going to save that to another video. Number 2 of part 6, shadow work. Now, this is very important. There's incredibly freeing amount of potential here with shadow work. It's a very deep subject. The idea of the shadow comes from a Jungian term. Now, Jung was a psychologist. He was a peer of Freud. I think he's probably a little younger than Freud. I think Jung died in the 60s or 70s, maybe. His idea was the shadow. Now, on one hand, we've got the personality. So you might, you're out in the street. I've done another video about this. You might be out in the street, you're meeting people. This is your personality. This is the side you want people to see. Ah, it's Jonathan. He's really nice. He's, outgoing. He's gregarious. He's friendly. What a good guy. Then there's the shadow. You know, what is the stuff that you wouldn't want to show people about? Like, what is it that you feel ashamed about? What is it that you wouldn't want other people to know about you? Um, what is the stuff that really makes you angry? What is the stuff that really makes you feel guilty? What is the stuff that you really hate about yourself? What is the stuff that you feel ashamed about yourself? That's the internal. The external, what are you really triggered about? Is there like maybe you're driving and someone cuts you up and you go, and it happens all the time. Maybe there's slow drivers. Like, you know, what's it like to be stuck behind a slow driver going 40 in a 60-mile-an-hour zone? Like, you know, what's that thing that triggers you? Perhaps a particularly family member, perhaps it's your partner. What is it about you that triggers them? It's not their fault. It's not the external's fault. You are being triggered. You have been triggered. So a classic example here. Let's say like there's a really, you know, energetic looking man. He comes into a room with a knife and he's all looking like this. And there's two people here. Like one will be like about to get murdered, and the other guy is just sitting in complete neutrality, complete calmness. Now, which one of these is correct? The one that thinks they're going to get murdered, or the one that's going to sit in neutrality? So we've seen they're both acting on the same stimuli. One is saying, I'm really, you know, I'm really scared, I'm really afraid. And the other is saying, I'm complete calm here. So they're acting from their own trauma responses, their own shadows, on how they see a certain person. So the scared person because it could see the knife wielding maniac as a threat, and the other person could see the knife wielding maniac as a person in need, a person that needs to be cared for, that needs to be speaking with compassionate. So these two different aspects of triggers and shadows, it's a very deep subject. I've been done it for a few years. I still sometimes struggle to articulate the shadow because it's so deep and so crazy. And I've had a lot of shadow in my life that I've been beginning to extricate through retention. And the last thing that you can transmute your energy through on this list is inner child healing. Now, inner child healing is a wonderful, wonderful tool to be able to help heal yourself inside, feel much better about yourself. There's a wonderful phrase, the boy is the leader of the man. So what came before you as a man? So you might be 18, 28, 30, 40, 50, 60 right now looking at this video, or even older. But who came first in your life? It was the boy. The boy came first, the ages 0 to 10, 10 to 18, 10 to 21 maybe, you know, the kind of childhood adolescence years. And they will say in a lot of psychology that the boy, there's a lot of men work off boy psychology. So they get caught in a certain time in their life, perhaps that they were bullied when they were 8 years old, and they created the belief system, an unconscious belief pattern system that works in their background. And here they are, like 35, 40-year-old man, and they're still operating with that old psychological theory and background. It's a wonderful, wonderful way to start to heal. You can go back and give your inner boy love. I've done a lot of IFS therapy, which is internal family systems. Very, very good way to look at the clusters of your inner children, normally your inner parts, as they call them in the IFS. Done a lot of inner child meditations. It is a wonderful way. And I think when you get into the retention journey, you will start to see these traumas, these shadows, these occasions, these memories when you did not feel good and you want to heal. So number 6 is all about healing. This is healing yourself in whatever way. And I think if you're on a retention journey, if you need trauma and shadows healing, it will come up to be worked through. So that's enough. I'll do more videos on that. So I'm particularly interested in that topic later. So number 7 of the 8. This is where we, for me, get into the juicy stuff. So this is spirituality. This is meditation. This is prayer and asana. So I know before I got into retention, I'd always had a long spiritual journey, but I think retention has really driven this greater attraction for spirituality. It's something that's really, really fascinated me. Like I was stuck on the aforementioned healing trauma, shadow work, and inner child for years. And it wasn't until I heard Yash from Beyond the Alchemy say, we need to raise our vibration, that something clicked. And it was a complete paradigm changer for me. This was about a year ago that I heard this. And I was like, yes, I need to raise my vibration. I need to be doing more spirituality stuff. So what is spirituality? Connecting to spirit, connecting to your essence, to connecting to your heart. You could say connecting to your higher self or the energy or God or Muhammad, or whatever deity you want to, or just connecting. You could just say my higher self, like my best self. There's another way. So how does this manifest in an everyday? What is spirituality? We could be doing meditation. We could be doing yoga. We could be doing Tai Chi. We could be doing particularly good martial arts. Um, these are ways that we can really help connect and get outside of ourselves. Um, I have particularly started enjoying praying since doing semen retention. It's like when I'm on retention, it just opens up this channel to me. It's like, oh, okay, like I'm connected to my higher self or God, and I pray probably first thing in the morning and last thing at night as well, maybe occasionally during the day. I think it's a wonderful, clear channel for me and almost everyone. Everyone can have this connection to God if they believe and want and have faith as well. It certainly has helped me through some tough times on retention to push through and keep on going when the urges have been tough. Um, and this is where I also see the idea of sublimation. So I've been talking about a lot about transmutation, which is about transmuting the energy, the internal energy to external pursuits. Sublimation, I see as sublimating the internal energy to some higher part of the body. And this is going to tie into the other word or the other topic on number 7, which is asana, which is the physical um, exercises that come with yoga. Now, sublimation, I've been doing a wonderful yoga asana called Brahmachari asana for about 4 or 5 months now, and it does really help. It's I just sit on my knees with my legs open a bit, and I sit there for maybe 5 or 10 minutes in the morning and the evening, and it helps send the energy from the groin area, which is a lot of where the sexual energy is held, and it moves it up to normally the third eye. And sometimes after a while, I feel it really pinging up here, like vibrating after a while. I think it's very, very important to want to and to need to sublimate this energy. We don't want stuck energy. I've never had blue balls, but um, this is a wonderful technique to sublimate and move the energy around you. Otherwise, there's also the microcosmic orbit I've done once or twice. Don't know too much about. I've done. You can do qigong to move the energy about. You can do yoga. I do asana in the morning, every other day, and sometimes during the day as well. For me, this could be branded just a connection to your higher self, connection to God, a way to move the energy through you. For those that have ever looked into 12-step programs, they lean heavily on connecting with the higher power, source, or God, or whatever you want to call it, to get them through the addiction. So if you're heavily addicted to alcohol or drugs or lust is probably the main one when we're talking about semen retention. Being in touch with the higher power or God can really take you through. Okay, guys, and last but not least on my list is number 8. Is clean living, sobriety, and addiction free. Now, I've always felt I've had a spiritual path in my life, especially 20s and 30s, but I was also really, really into drinking and going raving and taking ecstasy and dancing all night. And it was never really compatible with having a true and honest and I would say successful, I don't know if that's the right word, but successful spiritual path. And I think another one of the things that really came to me during my times on retention is purity. And I don't feel pure if I'm getting pissed, if I'm drinking a lot, if I'm smoking weed, if I'm doing drugs, if I'm lusting or looking after porn. Semen retention for me, one of the key words and key topics around retention is purity. I know many people who do this call their topics and programs the path to purity, and it really is. And I feel. And I'm generally very sober, 95 or 98% sober. I have a few drinks now and again, maybe at a party, but very, very few and far between. Like I don't smoke weed anymore. I don't do any drugs. In fact, I'm very surprised myself. I'm near enough completely sober. And I feel much, much better for it. In fact, it's been like that for years. Um, and so I feel much better, much more pure, and much more clearer with my retention. There's nothing really distracting it. I know when I've had a few drinks, I always feel a bit horny sometimes. When I smoke weed, it's very sensual for me. So I feel horny as well. So there's all these dangers are affecting my potential retentions. So I have cut them all out and they've been cut out mainly for years. So guys, I would plead with you to really go down the sobriety route. I know this might be a real chastener to some then. You might get really pissed off. And maybe you can, you can cap it. You can have an intentional marijuana journey or magic mushroom journey, which I am an advocate of intentionally doing medicine journeys. Drinking, I don't think much good is going to come of drinking, really. It makes you fat. It costs a lot. You have a hangover. It bloats you. It's really bad for your inner organs. It's not good at all. It's normally, for me, nervous system regulation, calming, it's habitual, and maybe it helps you connect with other people. I think you could probably go back to number 6 with here. Like a lot of addictions come out of unhealed trauma and unhealed shadow. So they're kind of intertwined as well. So yeah, so there we have it, guys. There's my list of 8. I said, as I said at the beginning, by no means a definitive list, but these are 8 topics that I find really important when having, if you want to be successful with your semen retention. I put this video out there as a kind of 101 for people that might be interested, might be getting into the topic, might want to see how they can be quote unquote successful with retention. So it's just a bit of a how-to 101 guide that I wished I saw when I was starting retention. And guys, yeah, don't beat yourself up, man. For me, it's really taken like a year and a half to 2 years of evolution to really find and forge more success with retention, really understanding the urges, growing my container. And it's my hope with these videos, with my 8 topics I've put here, that you can expedite and accelerate your journey to success on retention. I mean, I was deep in the lust game and deep in the PMO. And so now I'm kind of extracting myself. So, guys, if anyone finds solace in this, I would be deeply appreciative if one person can find solace in this video. So click like on this video. Any comments I would love to hear. Okay, man, go well. Lots of love and see you soon. Bye bye bye.